This is my favorite Star Wars scene of my favorite Star Wars movie, and it is awesome. Hey everyone, welcome back again to your family S2Cube, Success and Subjectivity for the Society. I'm so happy to be here again, here with you one more time, once again. Thank you for being here listening. So in today's video, I'm gonna teach you something very important about balances, about the equilibrium of opposites I told you the last time I was about to teach you. So in this video, I want to react to a scene of my favorite Star Wars movie, which is Star Wars and the Last Jedi, released in 2027, and you must be wondering, why is that your favorite movie? There are movies of Star Wars that are better than that one, but yeah, it is my favorite Star Wars movie because it has a deep meaning inside myself, such a strong and powerful teaching that I learned from it, and it is a particular meaning in my life. But yeah, I think the original trilogy is better than the new one released in this decade. But anyway, that's my favorite Star Wars movie. So this is the scene where Luke teaches Rey the first lesson of her training as a Jedi. So let's take a look.
What do you know about the Force?
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Lesson 1.
Sit here, legs crossed. The Force is not a power you have. It's not about lifting rocks. It's the energy between all things, a tension, a balance that binds the universe together.
Okay. But what is it?
Close your eyes. Breathe. Now, reach out.
I feel something.
You feel it?
Yes, I feel it.
That's the Force.
Really?
Wow, it must be really strong
Oh,
with
I've
you.
never felt any... Ow! You meant reach out, like... I'll try again.
Breathe. Just breathe. Reach out with your feelings. What do you see?
The island. Life. Death and decay that feeds new life. Warmth. Cold. Peace. Violence.
And between it all,
Balance. And energy. A force.
and inside you.
Inside me. That same force.
And this is the lesson. That force does not belong to the Jedi. To say that if the Jedi die, the light dies is vanity. Can you feel that?
There's something else. Beneath the island. A place. A dark place.
Balance. Powerful light, powerful darkness.
It's cold. It's calling me.
Resist it, Rey. Rey!
You went straight to the dark.
That place was trying to show me something.
It offered something you needed. And you didn't even try to stop yourself. I've seen this raw strength only once before. In Ben Solo. It didn't scare me enough then. It does now.
Okay, as a first opinion, in my concern, I want to talk to you about the wisdom of Luke. Okay, I think we can see in this scene a Luke Skywalker that has a lot of experience. I want to highlight this a lot. Luke has a great experience as a Jedi. You can realize in the way he speaks, the way he refers to Rey, the way he explains Rey about the Force and about everything he has learned, all the years of experience as a Jedi that he has, all the teachings that Master Yoda and Master Obi-Wan in his youth, when he was a young Padawan, learned throughout the years. And that's something that I want to highlight and note, as I already mentioned. We can see such an experimented Luke, and that's why he is capable enough, and I think, in my opinion, more than enough, of teaching Rey about the Force. And from my point of view and the way I see him teaching Rey, he is a great master, and I think Rey has a great mentor. And Rey has somebody very, very skillful from who she can learn from, her mentor, Luke Skywalker. Okay, point number 2. I also wanna highlight very much the faith that Rey has in this movie and in this scene. The faith of Rey. I think Rey in this episode is acting very faithful. He is so attached to the faith. With her attitude, we can notice a lot that Rey is always projecting faith. She always has a positive mood, and she's always trying to dive inside it. She's always trying to project that positive mood. She's always trying to project that hope. She is always trying to project the key factor in these kind of situations, which is hope. I think, in my opinion, hope is the most important thing when you're trying to achieve a purpose, when you're walking after a goal you have, when you are doing a new entrepreneurship, when you're trying to do a new kind of adventure, a new kind of release which involves a risk. The risk factor is always invisible when you are attached and when you keep inside yourself hope. Remember, even in Christianity and Catholicism, always the priests are talking about faith. In the Bible, always you hear the word faith, because faith moves matter, faith moves mountain. That's what Neville Goddard used to say, right? Because Jesus used to say, if you would have faith like a mustard seed, you would tell mountains, move, and the mountains will obey you. You would tell the paraplegic man, get up and walk, and the paraplegic will obey you. I think Jesus used to say that because he knew something that we don't know nowadays. At his time, he used to know something hidden in the truth that people in the present time still don't know, and they should know, because the real and actual meaning of the prayer means that you have faith. It's not a conversation with God. When you have faith, things come to your life. When you manifest positive something in your life that you need and you require, that is the purpose you came here to this life to become into. That purpose was always written for you to become into. Things are gonna flow. This is the true energy of all things, as Luke says. You can notice through his words and through his knowledge that he knows a lot how the universe behaves, how the law of attraction behaves. So I think Luke understands perfectly this, and that's what he's trying to teach Rey. And that's why I still think, and that's why I told you, he's a great master. Alright guys, but I don't want to confuse you and I don't want you to misunderstand me. If you remember well, in one of my episodes before, I told you that I don't talk in this channel neither about policy nor about religion. But why am I talking about religion? Okay, I want to explain you. I think it was necessary to mention about Bible and mentioning about Jesus in this video and in this topic, because I think it is important to people, I think they should know that power religion is talking about, the divine intervention and the divine power and all the deities that are in the sky, and representing God as a third party, because it is not a third party. I want you to understand that that power of God is inside ourselves. God is inside each one of you, each one of ourselves. God is not an external entity that you gotta obey so we can go directly to Him in the end of our lives. Kind of, but not really, because that power is inside each one of ourselves. We are part of that ocean of conscience. Do you remember that in the last video I recorded about manifestation, I told you about the main source we all are part of? That's what I meant. We have that power that religion exposes as a third party, as somebody made human, which is what I want to tell you about. God, the supreme creator of all things, is not a human. God is a original main source that created everything that exists in this world, universe and galaxy and everything. I mean, from my point of view, that kind of omniscience of all things existing in this world can't be a human, because humans have blind spots. We have blind spots. We don't know everything. As I told you in the last video, do you remember what I told you about the sight? The most important of human senses. We cannot see a lot of things. We cannot see the Wi-Fi. We cannot see all the signals that are a blind spot for human eyes. We have to use external devices like an X-ray scanner, like an ultraviolet vision device, and so on, just to don't make this story very long. But if we talk about that kind of omniscience, we cannot talk about a human. So that power doesn't belong to an external party. That power belongs to us, to ourselves. Why? Because we are not what we see in the mirror. You are not watching me. You are not watching Juan Pablo here. It's like artificial intelligence. You assume that if you can watch it in a screen, you are watching the reality, and you're not watching the reality because those are images edited in a computer program. So it works the same way with real life and real human senses. We are an internal conscience that is inside ourselves our whole life, inside ourselves, and when in the moment we die, it returns to the main plane of existence of life that was put inside ourselves the day we were born, as a conscience that was materialized in a 3D human body. So that's why I want to connect to the next point, which is the pessimism of Luke, but also at the same time, with his pessimism, the reality, the clarity when he sees things. In another scene of that same movie, Luke tells Rey that Jedi are romanticized, deified. The legacy of the Jedi are hypocrisy, failure, hubris. And I think he's, from a certain point of view, right. He's right from my point of view. And why? Because we all give power in a collective conscience to institutions. And I don't want to mention names here, but who is the one that makes those institutions have power? To be superior, to have like a kind of superior role compared with us. It's us, ourselves, ones who give those institutions power. And remember, I don't want to mention names, but I think it applies in many situations of daily life, in real life. I think, in my opinion, that's not science fiction, because he's talking about the Jedi, and the light doesn't belong to the Jedi from Luke's point of view. So I think he's completely right, and each one of ourselves have that same power inside ourselves. I mean, we are like a kind of God. We all are God, but this is only a kind of way to explain to you so you can understand me. This is like a kind of way that the message can be clear for each one of you. So regarding to the next point, which is Luke's negativity, but also Luke's clarity and the mature attitude that Luke has, where he exposes Rey that power doesn't belong to the Jedi, I think is quite real, because she doesn't know the power that she has inside herself, and Luke is trying to open her eyes to make her wake up and show that power she has. She didn't even know. He's trying to show Rey what she actually can do, because he notices it when Rey starts to ask, when Rey starts to wonder why Luke doesn't want to go with her to save the resistance of the First Order threats, of the First Order menace. So I think this is very beautiful, and I really love that scene because it's like a kind of waking up. In fact, the former movie is called The Force Awakens, released in 2015, so it's great from my point of view. Luke is trying to show Rey this. Like, don't you see the magnitude of what I have to face? You're calling me to help you to face that kind of threats, that kind of power. And as you can remember, I told you about Luke's wisdom. I told you about Luke's experience, the process, all the years that he spent training. Well, those years also work to make Luke understand that he can't face such an organization so well formed like that one, like the First Order, because there are many of them. It's huge. You can't dimension the size and the magnitude of the First Order, because it's an organization very well structured of many people working together. Many people working together who in the past were called the Empire. And that Empire took down the Jedi Order. You realize what those kind of organizations are capable of? Luke knows and understands that very well, because Obi-Wan taught him, Yoda taught him, they told him the story of the Jedi Order, how the Empire and how the Sith destroyed the Jedi Order in the past. So I think he is in certain point of view right. I mean, he has like half reason, he's right in half part, but in the other half I think he's not. I think he is full of fear. He is scared, and fear makes things in your life that is like a kind of control. Is the manipulation tool people uses to subdue yourself to them. It's the tool that many people use to get yourself subdued to their orders, to their commands, to do whatever they want you to do. That works. Fear is so strong inside humans, and it's the main tool people use to manipulate the truth, manipulate people. Therefore, Luke understands that fear controls your life. So my advice, if you're experiencing intense fear episodes, is to first of all evaluate the situation. Try to think, okay, why is this happening to me? Why is fear controlling my life? Why am I feeling so scared all the time? Why do I have so much anxiety? Number 3, is this real? Is this actually the truth, or are just illusions of my mind? And number 4, try to do something to overcome that kind of situation. Okay, if I let myself be subdued, if I let the fear control me, I'm gonna end up like this way. So I have to take action, and it will have a reaction after doing it. See, action, reaction. That's one of the universe laws that people don't know, that were given to humanity, but people don't know those universe laws. We know the 10 commandments that God gave to Moses in the Sinai Mount. In the Sinai Mountain, you remember that says in the Bible. But actually those commandments are not effective in this life, because it's like manipulation with fear from my point of view. I don't want to mess with the belief of any one of you. That's why I don't talk about religion here. But the universe laws are just balances. Because if you evaluate the situation, as I told you, you must do when you're experiencing intense moods of fear, you realize that religion always talks about balances. Do you remember the Our Father prayer? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. On earth as it is in heaven, it's talking about duality. 2 points. Give us this day our daily bread. and forgive us as we forgive those who trespasses against us. What is that? That is balance, you see? So, okay, regarding to that third point, I hope you guys understood what I tried to explain you here. So we're gonna keep going with the fourth point. So it is the projection of darkness in Rey and the negative emotions. I think, in my opinion, it works in a similar way than fear, because fear controls your life when you're actually controlled by fear, when we are completely submerged in the state of fear. I think it works in a similar way than negative emotions. Why? Because negative emotions are strong in our lives. Why? Because we are humans, and humans have blind spots, and in the nature of humans it's normal to have negative emotions. We have emotions of any kind, whether it's happiness or joy, sadness, fear, shame, I don't know, disgusting, anger, and so on. So it's natural that those emotions have an electromagnetic energy, and those project themselves in our brain, and we experience those kind of emotions from this point of view, the point of view of humans, the point of view of being a human and have emotions. And it's completely normal, but those emotions are handled in the quantum field of universe. Those frequencies are created and we experience them. We are not our emotions. The emotions are something apart. And Rey lets herself dive very deep inside fear, inside darkness. And I think that fear sometimes is strong inside ourselves in one specific case, which is when we have uncertainty about something that will happen in the future. For example, she doesn't know her parents. I'm gonna explain a little bit about that in next videos. For example, I wanna react to the scene where Luke tells Rey that the legacy of Jedi are hypocrisy and hubris and failure. Why did he say that? That's the same, I think, about certain organizations that make themselves look like deified and glorified and superiors, and we must worship them. And I think that's not actually the truth. That happens in real life. It's not only Jedi and science fiction, as Luke says. But why did Luke say that the legacy of such an important organization that always tried to fight for the welfare of humankind in the Star Wars movies, why did they project failure? It's something like, why are you saying that? And Rey disagrees with him, and she tells him, no, this is not true. But we are gonna understand in the next episodes why did Luke said that to Rey. So Rey lets herself be controlled by fear because she doesn't know where she comes from. She doesn't know her origin, and she doesn't know who her parents were. She doesn't know anything about herself, her childhood, nothing. So that uncertainty makes her overthink all the time, and she wants to know. She's curious, and that's something normal because we cannot live without knowing something. We cannot live like that because we are made for knowledge. Knowledge is the true nature of human beings, but we are not connected with knowledge most of the time. So that's something very sad. That's a pity that we are not connected with knowledge. We should, but we are not, unfortunately. So the truth is that Rey wants to know, and that uncertainty becomes into pain. Remember one episode where Master Yoda starts to tell Anakin, fear path to dark side is because fear leads to pain, pain leads to suffering, suffering leads to hate, and it's like a vicious circle that always starts to grow and grow and grow and becomes stronger, and that's something very sad, and it's such a shame and such a pity. But Rey starts to let herself be controlled by that, and that was not very pleasant for me because Rey has such a good faith, as I mentioned some moments ago. And since Rey is let the fear control her, she's losing that kind of ability, the faith she had at the beginning. But actually her faith becomes stronger than fear at the end of the movie, and that's something very beautiful and something great, but that's a topic for another video. So I think this could work like a kind of lesson to all of us, because sometimes in our life, as it's normal, we have emotions, we have good moments, we have bad moments as well. So sometimes we cannot stop feeling scared, we cannot prevent ourselves of having fear, because it's normal, we are humans, and it will be like this till the moment of our deaths. But what we can control is how long is this going to take. We can determine, okay, this will be like this until this day, because I'm not gonna let this go further, because I'm the owner of my life and I wanna feel alright, I wanna feel okay, I wanna have welfare in my life, and I wanna experience good feelings, good moods, you know what I mean? So sometimes, yeah, we'll have fear, we will have bad moments, negative emotions, but the most part of our lives and in another moments, the best idea and what it would be great would be to have like a kind of balance in our emotions. That's called emotional intelligence, and how to control those emotions. Where am I feeling that kind of discomfort in my knees, in my shoulders? Why am I so anxious, and why am I so stressed out? And the idea is not keep feeling like that all the time. And before continuing with the next point, I want to let you know that in my opinion, from my point of view, it's because of Luke that Rey goes directly to the darkness. As Luke himself says, because if Luke were a little bit more positive, I think balance is present there, and in some part of the movie Yoda goes to correct him, to let him know you don't act according to what I taught you. The ghost of Yoda appears in the island and starts to tell Luke, hey, be careful with this, as all masters should know. Haven't you heard the phrase, we never end of learning? We never end our learning process, and it will be until the last day of our lives. Well, it's true. And Luke make mistakes as all of us, because we have the condition of humans here, and that's part of the process, making mistakes. And from the mistakes you learn. Okay, the next point I want to talk about is the nature. I think they are in a beautiful place. It's such a beautiful island, and I think Luke needs that. And Luke, after the failure he has, that is actually not failure, it's like a kind of teaching life is trying to give Luke. That's why he goes to that island to, as he said himself, to die, to spend the rest of his days. They are in a beautiful place that heals a lot of Luke, and that helps Luke to overcome all that frustration and those bad feelings he had for the past painful memories he had, and the project he didn't accomplish in its totality, which was forming a new Jedi Order. So, as some religions show, for example, like paganism or Greek mythology, the gods of Greece, the god of the water, the god of nature sometimes is perceived from the point of view of many religions like God, the nature god. And yes, it has like a kind of truth behind it. Inside that kind of beliefs, I can find something that is actually the truth. Not the 100% of it, but some part of it. Because the nature is divine. We cannot force nature to be faster or to be slower. The nature has its own cycles, and it's perfect. The spring season will always be in April. It will never be in May. No, take a little longer. Or come faster, I am tired of too much cold, too much snow. No, it's April, period. You understand? Nature is perfect. Its cycles are perfect. And winter will always start in the middle part of October. It will never be in August or in July. It will be in October. Middle October. It starts to get colder. Well, it also depends on the country, the same as spring, but average it will be in October, and spring in April. It's something divine. We cannot make that change, because we provide life to nature and nature provides life to us. And don't you remember that Jesus himself says, and Jesus himself taught, from the dust and the dirt you come, and from the dust and the dirt you shall return. That's what Jesus said. So we cannot fight against it. He knew something, I repeat, that we didn't, and we still don't know. So I think it's beautiful, the place. I think the balances are perfect. Luke is a little bit unbalanced, but the environment he's on helps him a little to connect with himself, the most part of himself. So eventually Luke has to project that security. That's what Yoda lets Luke know later in the movie, but Yoda lets Luke know what I agree with him. That is, Luke has a great point of view, a great knowledge and a great experience, but he must be a little bit more positive. Luke has to be a little bit more positive and transmit that to Rey, because what you have inside, it's what you reflect outside. One of the universe laws, as I told you, is how it's inside, it will be outside. It's not coincidence. It is written for a reason. Like the 10 Commandments of Moses. No, we have universe laws, as these two I told you already. So Luke is a great master. Luke has a great potential, has a great bunch of capacities, and until this point the movie is awesome. Let's keep going with the next point. Okay, this topic of balances remembers me a lot. A common comment that atheists always mention, which is, okay brother, if your God is so merciful and so good, why does he allow a lot of evil and a lot of bad people and bad things in this world? And I think that comment is completely out of mind and doesn't make any sense at all. Why? With all the due respect you deserve, I think that doesn't make sense, because you cannot experience how great a good day is if the bad days didn't exist. If the bad days don't exist, didn't exist the good days either. You understand what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to explain you here? It must be together. Those must be together, so one can be the complement of the other, and those make perfect sense and a complete circle in this life, as the circle of life in the song of Lion King. Have you seen that movie? Exposes. Like that philosophy tries to teach us throughout our lives every time. So I think that's great. That topic of balances must be complete. You cannot have a yin if you don't have a yang, and it's present everywhere. Luke himself says in the movie, powerful light, powerful darkness. Balance. As you can see, Rey mentions all the time, balance. I feel balance all the time. So we can realize how important this thing is. Balance all the time. As you can hear in the moment where Luke saying that if the Jedi die, the light dies, is vanity. Can you feel that? When he says that to Rey, I felt quite identified, because, as I already told you, that power doesn't belong to any institution. It belongs to us. Each one of us have that light inside ourselves. We're all part of that main source. And it makes me remember that our entire lives we have been taught that power belongs to an institution. I'm not gonna mention names here, as I already told you, but just to be clear enough so you can understand, the majority of religious institutions do that. They teach people that no, we are the institution that have that divine power, and only through us you can get access to that power, and it is not like that. We all have that power inside ourselves, hidden, but they teach people only you gotta contact us so we can bring you that power and we can give you access to that power, and we only need to close our eyes and feel that power inside ourselves. It's hidden right there. We all are part of that energy, that divine energy. We are like water drops of a big ocean. That is the omniscient power, the omniscient source, creator of everything that exists. All the things existing in this world are created by it, and we are all part of it. Water drops of a huge ocean. So if you analyze the situation deep down from the root of the problem, you realize that it is all a matter of misinformation and bad education. Why? For the same reason Luke told Rey, impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong. Come here, sit here, legs crossed. He knows perfectly that that is the trick of the system, to bring misinformation, to confuse yourself so they can take advantage of that situation. Because, as I told you last time, knowledge is power. When we know something, we know how to act in certain situations. We know how to proceed, because otherwise if you don't know something, if we don't know what to do, we don't know what they are talking about, and we don't know how to react and what to do so we could get the best result. So therefore, try to get yourself educated, as I always tell you. Try to get yourself educated, investigate information about things, and so on and so on. That's on you, up to you, whatever you want to do, whatever you decide to do. So that thing that they call the Force, the Jedi, the equilibrium, the balances, it's real. It's the energy. It's God or the universe or the quantum field of everything that exists, whatever you want to call it. It's real and it's inside ourselves. The Jedi, it's like the religious institutions and the education system and the governments and so on and so on. So you can think and you can make your own conclusions about this. So guys, as you can see along this video, I've been mentioning scenes about other parts of the movie, other scenes. So I would like also to react to those scenes, because I think I can take some important conclusions from those scenes as well, and I want to react to them because I think those are amazing, impressive. If we react to those scenes, I can teach you a lot of things that I can notice in the scenes. And those scenes have a lot of knowledge hidden behind them. So I think there's a lot of things to learn from those scenes. So I will be uploading new videos reacting to those scenes and analyzing them from the mental health point of view. Also, I will let you know which scenes are those scenes I'm telling you about, I'm gonna react to. So keep standing by and I'll be telling you about this very soon. For example, one of those scenes is the one where Luke tells Rey that the Jedi manipulate the information and distort the information to use it to their advantage. So keep checking the channel because the new content that is upcoming would be very great. So guys, that was everything for today. I want to thank you very much again for watching the video. Thank you so much. I want to invite you to like the channel, to subscribe if you haven't done yet, to click the bell so this platform will let you know whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for your time. Regarding to general information, I have a lot to tell you of changes that this channel have had the last months, from last year. So to be able to tell you all that information, I will be uploading a new video, a short video, I think no longer than 3 minutes, telling you about all the changes that I've had, and it requires time and a specific video to be able to do it properly and to tell you everything, not forgetting any important detail maybe. So I will be uploading a new video. That's why I always remind you to click on the bell so the platform will let you know whenever I release a new video. This is the new and first video of this year 2025, so thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to do my best to upload and record new videos, to work in new material, so thank you so much for all the support you're giving me. So step by step we can keep going and continuing in this awakening process and trying to get more and more people so they can also make part of this big change. Remember that you are welcome in our family S2Cube, success and subjectivity for the society, the password through the one you will unlock the happiness and the success in your life. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much. Take care, regards, and see you soon. Bye.